Alright guys, we'll be learning about servant leadership, what it takes to become a servant inside of leadership. Jesus was the number one best example. He came to serve, not to be served. Philippians 2:3 says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in everything exalting others is better than yourself. That's the basis of here to get away from the pride. Attributes of being a servant leadership, things that lead you into that servant heart placement. Humility. We each have natural giftings that's going to help you, and then through training, you can hone those skills and those traits to be able to better serve other people. And practicing it, we gain confidence as we practice these things and go through them and learn that you can be successful in certain areas and such. And response rather than reacting. Some thoughts that'll keep us from being a servant leader can be pride, thinking we're better than other people, things like that. And self-serving attitude, which is ego-driven, saying that you need to serve yourself rather than other people around you. Apathy, a lack of caring. False pride, which can be overcome by humility. And reaction. When we react to situations, it's usually not our best response when it's our first response. To say something in reply. The definition of response is to say something in reply. The mentality that tells us we must say something back to another person immediately rather than processing your own response. Typically in a conflict, our first response is not going to be our very best response. Whether it's the flesh or the pride, we are not our best when responding to situations. How much more so when it's an accusation or an insult, when your feelings are hurt in a situation like that. The definition of servant leader is a philosophy in which the goal is to serve. This is different from traditional leadership. It is a thriving of a company or organization. Instead of the people working to serve the leader exists to serve the people, which is what we do inside the ministry. We come here to serve others. A servant leader shares power, puts the needs of others, and help people develop and perform as highly as possible, all without fear of losing position or status, because the goal is not to shine, but to shine Jesus Christ. So rather than look at me attitude, what we're doing is a mentality of humility to make everybody around us shine as well. So Loving Hands Ministries, inside of what we're doing right here, we understand it's a 2-year commitment, 2-year discipleship ministry for guys coming from addiction, whether it's drugs or alcoholism, homelessness, and those things. The purpose of it being 2 years is for a reason, is to develop servant leaders. To do this, we have first to unlearn some faulty beliefs, such as needing to be right in all situations. I was taught as a boy some things that ended up not being true. Men don't cry, you're never supposed to lose a fight, and things like that. You gotta fight to win. These are things that each of us have been taught as a kid, and it takes some time to unlearn those things so that we can produce humility. Because of those beliefs, each of us develop a personality that is contrary to servant leadership. 1, what do you recognize, this is a question for you, Reggie, what do you recognize about our ministry? What are some first things that come to your mind about Loving Hands Ministries?
Loving Hands Ministries is a really good place because it teaches you a lot of life skills such as what you're talking about, being a servant to others. I'm currently in the kitchen, so I get the part of, serving my brothers, and that's a really big part of leadership is being a servant like Jesus was.
Amen. Yeah, your heart right now in the second, how many months you been in the ministry?
16 months.
16 months. There's something that usually comes up. I heard Jeff last night when he presented the ministry to a fellow at the church. What is Loving Hands Ministries? And he said it's a very disciplined, very structured program. It's for a reason, because we're taking away that old lifestyle of the world and replacing it with Christ. And now you're into the second year, and your responsibility is actually to serve, and you do it very well because you've been equipped to do those things. And for you, Jared, when you look at the second year residence, which is close to where you are calendar-wise, you're into the second year right now, what do you notice is different in the second year resident?
Just the maturity as far as how they come, just as the growth that I've seen in both the guys here, and just where they were and where they are now, and their heart changed to serve.
You get to see guys first in the first year surrender and submit. The first year of Loving Hands Ministries is designed for discipline, for a purpose, to rip away all those things of the world and those untrue beliefs that we were taught as kids, so that in the second year, when you guys begin into the second year, you're equipped and prepared to serve other people inside of responsibilities, cooking, work projects, all those things, and then you begin to serve the guys that are coming in new. I don't believe that I would have been 100% if they put me in one of those responsibilities in 90 days in the ministry. Just personally speaking, for me, from my mindset, 90 days in the ministry, I was not ready for leadership because I was dealing with pride and those things like that. That's good.